Hey guys, it's Miss Karen. We're getting ready to do the Frida tote. And here I have some of it laid out. Once you open that, there's 2 lessons in the Frida creation. You will have an eyebrow, lips, and some example leaves right here. You'll also get a package that has different pieces of felt for you to make your flowers. You'll get something like this. There's also some green thread in there because that's what you'll stitch your flowers on with. So the shorter pieces like this are to cut out petals like this flower, and the longer pieces are to cut in half to make the rolled flowers. So you'll grab some scissors and one of your strips and just you can cut it straight down the middle, but if you go zigzaggy, it will make the top of the flower more interesting. So I'm just gonna do a little zigzag. I'm just free cutting. You don't have to make a line, just go for it. And this is a simple one to do the zigzag, okay? So there's that. Now each of these will make a flower. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take one end and you're gonna get it started into a roll. And then you're gonna roll it up like that. Keep rolling until you've got the whole thing rolled up. This end will be flat. So keep rolling and keep this edge flat. That's the bottom of your flower. Okay, and then here we go. Have it all rolled up. It looks pretty good. If any edges are too square, you can round it off with a little snip. And then I'm gonna take one of my pins and I'm gonna poke it through this flower. It's gonna come out the other side, but it'll hold my flower in place while I make the rest. So you can do the exact same thing with the other half. And then let's see, I have some red. You have all different colors. Maybe this time I wanna do a rounded cut. And since it's a little bit different on each side, each flower will have a little bit of its own character. And that wasn't my best cut job. That's okay. They all turn out pretty. So we'll start to roll it up on one end, like that. Again, keeping this side flat. Roll that all the way up. Okay, kind of looks like a rose. So let's pin this one. There you go. And for the rose, I've included a piece of green felt like this. I'd like you to cut out the leaves that go around the bud of the rose. You can do that by folding this in a triangle, and you're going to cut a little triangle there and cut one right here. You're not cutting the fold at all, okay? So I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut a little bit out right here, like that, okay? And then I'm gonna do it on the other side. A little bit like this. Okay, so it's not exactly even, but nonetheless, let me trim this up a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to take my rose and set it right in the middle and let that come up. And then we're going to let this side come up. So these sides are a little too fat for me. So I'm going to just trim them down into more of a leaf shape. Because these are supposed to be leaves. And same thing on the other side. Okay. There we go. Okay, again, that's looking a little weird, but just watch. Put that up, put these up. Okay. I'm just going smaller with these. Kind of like an X. Once it's all gathered together, it'll be good. And then you can trim up all your edges. So that one didn't turn out the best, but nonetheless, we move forward. Okay, so now you know how to do the strip flowers. So I'm gonna put those to the side. Oh, this is the other side of that one too. So I'm gonna roll that up and then we'll have a flower that looks a little bit different. I like it when it has a little bit of texture. You can always use these green scraps too for like little you know, bases, flowers. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do the petal one. Like this and that. You're going to take your fabric and you can cut it in half like this if you want to make not a huge flower. This will make a fairly good size one. Okay, so I'm cutting out teardrops. There's one teardrop. Doesn't matter if they're not exact. Another teardrop. That's the beauty of nature. Okay, so I got 4 right there. You can make a flower with 4 petals. So I'll show you that real quick. So when you do the petals, you're going to fold it in half. You're going to stick your needle through the bottom part, not right at the bottom, but like 1/8 of an inch off the tip. Okay, pull that all the way on to your thread. Get your next one, fold it in half. Put your needle through. Not quite the tip, but close. Again, folding it. Putting your needle through the tip. Okay, fold the last one. Okay, so there's all my little flowers, my petals. And what I could do right now if I wanted is snip this off, tie this in a knot, pull it tight, and then tie it one more time to make it a secure knot. I would leave the threads for right now because it might become part of your flower presentation. And for these that you've rolled up and have pinned and waiting, you're going to take your needle, stick it through near the bottom, all the way through. If you have a problem, just kind of tug on it and get it to go through. So there's going to be once. We're going to come to this side, go all the way through. Okay, pull that through. Not that on the side, not so much on the bottom. Okay, and one more time, like right here. And use your table to help push it through. Wiggle it, pull it all the way through. Okay, so there's that. Now we're gonna take this, snip it. We're gonna tie it off. This is the secret to your flowers staying together, is the knots. Okay. Again, I'd leave the long threads because they might become like part of the presentation. Okay. So there's another flower. This one right here is just a little piece of fabric that you can take like this around the corner. Not a lot of straight angles in nature. And then you can start to roll it up. And I think a little up, down is good for this. So then it has a little dimension. There you go, much better. Okay, one little stitch will do this one. So you pull your thread through, leave enough to tie it, and snip. Tie it in a knot, which means do this twice, and once more. Okay, so we're getting all our flowers together. Okay, everyone has a little packet with the lips in it, and also there is a couple sample leaves. Everyone got green fabric, a couple pieces of green, so you can use that as a pattern, or again, it's a simple shape. You can just cut it out like this. Start in the corner, around it, and then turn your fabric around, cut off any severe corners, and there we have another leaf. So you'll have a bunch of those that you'll want to have with all your flowers that are going to go on to your hair. Some people receive just a piece of black felt like that with no hairline cut, but some of you did receive it with the hairline cut. If not, just take your scissors and cut what you think her hairline would look like, but I would encourage that you do that afterwards. Right now we're just going to take all our flowers and start to place them on how you would like them, and it can be in any fashion, can't be wrong. Okay, so there's mine. You should have plenty of fabric to make plenty of flowers. Frida Kahlo had flowers worn on her head like a headband, so have fun with it. Once you've got your plan, if you have a hot glue gun, with the help of an adult, if you need it, you can hot glue them on. If you don't, basically you're going to take your flowers off and just start with one. And so I'm going to come from the back. Oops, forgot that I didn't have a knot. Okay, there's that. And go all the way through the flower on this side. Pull it tight. And then you're going to go back down into the black fabric. One stitch should do it. And you can just get your next flower, whatever that might be. Place it here next to it. Come up. One good stitch down. And that one's in place. I want to put my dot on there maybe, so I'm going to come back up through that flower, put my dot on, and go down. Okay, take my next flower. Let's see, how about this guy? Tuck him in. Come up. Go back down. I think adding a leaf might be good. How about this guy? We're going to add you right here. Tuck it underneath. That way it'll look more real. And just give that one good stitch. Bring the needle back to the other side. Okay. When you run out of thread, you're going to cut your needle off. Tie your knot. Remember what I said about tying good knots, because this is what's going to keep your flowers in place, unless you use hot glue. But I love the idea of you guys stitching all your flowers on, practicing tying knots. It's just going to improve your game. There we go. So I've got the first part done, and then I will just stitch on the rest of the flowers, and I will be back to show you that when I'm done. Okay, everyone is going to have some fabric. It's 2 layers like that, and I want you to match your edges, make sure everything's even, match your corners as best you can. They're hand cut, so it's not, you know, like a machine did it, so don't worry if it's a little wonky. But I would like you to put a pin at each corner, and if you recall, the pin goes all the way through all layers and then back up. That's how you pin fabric together. Okay, we're going to do this one again. Goes through all layers and then comes back up. And so this is my 3rd corner, and now I'm going to do this one. Okay, so one of these ends will be the opening to your pouch, your tote. But what I want you to do is thread your needle, and you're going to do the whip stitch all the way around 3 sides, not this side, because this is our opening. And I'd like you to keep your stitches small and close together, not right next to each other. There should always be space between your stitches, about a pinky size. And the length of your stitches could be about a pinky too. When you run out of thread, just tie off the thread, knot it, and then start up again until you get your whole perimeter sewn. And when you're done with that, take your pins out, put them in the pin cushion. Okay, and then we will be ready once you have this stitched. You have your little pouch here. Yay, from a pouch. We're gonna put the hair and flowers on it. Okay guys, we're going to take our ribbon, now that we have our bag stitched along the outside. We're gonna take our ribbon. Everybody has 2 pieces. It might be striped, it might just be black, it might be white. And you're gonna fold your ends like that. And you wanna put that right on the inside. So I'm gonna fold this one, put it over the edge about 1 inch. Okay, probably 1 inch off each side. From here to here, from there to there is about 1 inch. Okay, and then when you have it in place, I want you to take your pin it in place, and then we're going to do the other side, about 1 inch off this edge, and then about 1.5 inches off that one, or 1 inch off that one. Pin it. Okay, so now I have that right there, and I'm going to take my needle and thread, and I am going to stitch this on. Make sure you got a knot at the end of your thread. I suggest using the contrasting thread or matching thread that you have. You're going to go in at one corner, across the front, and back out the other corner on the bottom. Okay, poke through. Now you're going to go to the top, just at the edge of the orange fabric. Go down. We're doing the running stitch, but we're doing it in a rectangle. Okay, so now I'm out here on the front. I'm gonna go back across to the edge of the ribbon, pull it through, and then go back to the place that I started right there. Come back up, same location. If you do about 3 of these, you will have a nice solid handle sewn on. Okay, so I'm gonna take my needle out. I'm gonna cut my pins out and cut my needle off, tie my knot. Again, make sure your knot's sturdy, because this is going to be what you hold your tote by. Once, twice is a knot. Okay, and then go do the other side just like that. We're gonna trim our threads when we're done. Okay, so that's how your first handle's looking. You do the other one, and then you go to the other side, flip your bag over if that's easier. Do the same thing. So this needs to be like this. So I'm going to pin it on. Okay, then you're going to have your 2 little handles sewn on, and then we'll do the hairline next.
So that at least the impact is not as
Okay guys, I finished my beautiful hair and flowers for the top of my purse. I'm going to pin it.
But certainly to the extent that folks continue to have contacts, we're going to see more of an impact.
Yeah, let me go. I'm sorry. These are questions.
Focus us on the hospital admissions.
So you can see my work on the back where I stitched on my flowers. If you have a glue gun though, you can take the easy way out. I'm going to put a pin right here, catching the edge of that leaf and catching all layers. And I'm going to put one at the top.
If you look at that, the calculus we have right now is they are growing. It's very concerning.
And then I'm going to fit it and pin it on the other side. Right here.
That is why we're standing here saying we're at orange. My pledge is I'm going to keep looking at these numbers and I'm going to be proactive. And if we see, and what I think about every single day is I need to make sure that it's not too late by the time we go to red. And the way we make sure it's not too late, we warn people early and we increase our capacity. So that's why we have the NRG medical.
So you've got your hair pinned on. And I'm going to ask you to whip stitch, go under the flower, but whip stitch that right there, catching all 3 layers. Then you're going to come to this side and you're going to whip stitch all 3 layers. This is 2 layers and then the hairline is 1. If you can go underneath the flowers, that's best, okay? So then you'll have that. You can also whip stitch right here too, just to anchor that. Okay, and then you'll have that on there. And then the only other things we have to do, stitch on both handles. I showed you how to do that before. Make sure you get both on. Here's my unibrow. So what I would do is put it right about there. And the lips can go right about here. There we go. You're going to, I would glue these on in some fashion. I'm sorry I couldn't send glue. But I think if you have hot glue, a little bit there and there, would put that together. And a little bit of hot glue on the back of that. Bam. And there you have Frida. So here's Frida. How'd we do?
This is from last one. We'll put a tone window if you can actually spans, of course. We have received
Pretty
some
good.
calls from citizens
Thanks, guys.
complaining about renters, homeowners,